For a season that certainly lacked a lot of the quality of older seasons in The Flash, I found that Season 5's finale was really strong, and I am admittedly pretty excited for what is to come in the future. What's going on, guys? This is Ramakrishnan here. Welcome to the channel if you are new around here. I love to talk about things that I love in the worlds of gaming, movies, and TV shows, whether I'm doing lists and rankings or countdowns or just having general discussions. And of course, right now, if you're into the CW's comic book shows like I am and have been for quite some time, you know that they're all coming to an end for the seasons. And Flash Season 5 recently wrapped up. And I have some thoughts about the season overall because while in one way I was disappointed with Season 5, in another I had some cool things in there that really got my attention. I found some things to be pretty strong, and I am generally excited for the future of The Flash, but Season 5 was definitely one with a lot of problems, and I'd love to talk about them with you guys. So hopefully you guys are down for a little discussion about Season 5 of The Flash, and then hopefully you guys will join me in the comments below where we'll have a nice fun discussion talking about all the things we love and hated or anything in between about the season. So without any further ado, guys, why don't we just start talking about it?
Hi, we need to talk.
Who are you?
I'm your daughter, Nora, from the future.
Anybody need a refill? Just me?
So the first aspect of Season 5 of The Flash that I really just want to talk about is Nora Allen, because I feel like that is where I had the biggest conflict in my personal opinion. Because I remember that in the beginning of Season 5, early on last year and stuff, I wasn't sure what to expect with her, and she sort of got on my nerves a little bit. I just wasn't sure if I was all that compelled by her being there, and I felt like she was causing a lot of drama with the team and with the family and stuff, and I wasn't really sure what was going on with her in the future. Overall, it was just a general feeling of uncertainty, if I'm being completely honest. But then it kind of changed, and by the end, I think that she was really good. And that's just because of the emotional weight that she brought to the team and to the show overall.
I love you. I always will.
I felt like it was really nice and sweet to see that relationship that Nora built with both Iris and with Barry, and they were conflicting, and at first you saw Barry kind of like having a better relationship with her, and she almost forgot about Iris, but like her purpose was to really get to be with her father that she never got to have in the future. But at the same time, Iris was never the mother that she would ideally like to be. That is kind of where the conflict of the relationships came in with the family, and it was back and forth. One day I felt like it was where you had Nora closer with Iris, and then one day she was close with Barry, and then there's that aforementioned drama with which I had a little bit of a problem with, but then it grew on me because I did feel like there was a nice depth with the emotions and whatnot in the family drama, and overall in the end it was extremely sweet the way it ended. Nora, I'd argue that she kind of sacrificed herself, because if you think about it, she could have gone to the negative Speed Force, and I guess that would have saved her, but she decidedly ended it, and she let herself go, I should say, because she knew she didn't want to become evil and end with that legacy. She wanted to end on a good note, and honestly, it worked. I think it was pretty good.
It's making me like Thawne. Full of anger and hate. I don't want that to be my legacy.
So Nora really loved Barry and Iris. She loved them like the parents that she would have had when she was a kid growing up and stuff, even if she was, I don't know, maybe their age, honestly. And they had a nice sweet relationship in between and within with the family, and in the end, Barry and Iris, I think they learned a lot about themselves, and I like that. I think that it was a strong dynamic, which I was a little worried about at first, but I think it paid off, because I would argue that the two of them learned about each other and loving one another and family, and just knowing how to be parents. And I would say that they can probably better themselves in the future, and that's really great, because I guess inevitably they're gonna have another Nora, right? I don't know if it's gonna be her. The whole timeline thing is a little bit crazy in the show, but I think that they're gonna have a child one day, and then they'll know about how to be parents, and I think it's great to see them kind of get challenged by something that is not just like a speedster or a metahuman, but to be challenged by something so personal and emotional and at home like that. And I think that was surprisingly pretty good, for a show that does get into melodrama sometimes and doesn't do well with it. I think that this succeeded.
I believed I could do the impossible.
but I never imagined it would turn out like this. I'm glad it did. I wouldn't change anything about my time with you. My sweet parents.
Now, of course, Nora coming back in time was not only to meet her father and, end that legacy of him vanishing, but she also wanted to stop Cicada. And this Cicada here is kind of like my biggest problem with the season, and I don't really think that I expected it to go so bad for me at first, because in the beginning of the season I was like, alright, this guy here, Orlin, right, he's got really, he's emotional about his niece, who he took in like a daughter, being damaged and put into a coma that she may never wake up from, and he got powers and he didn't even want those powers, so he's hurt, really emotionally damaged, and maybe even physically, I guess you can say. So I thought that this was going to be a very 3 or 4 dimensional villain, someone who I can get behind, but I ended up not liking Cicada really at all, and even Cicada 2 coming in there would not make things better for me, and that sucks because, I think that villains are really important in superhero shows like this. I didn't really like Cicada. I thought that, first of all, the guy talked in the most annoying and kind of cheesy way. I didn't like that gruff, slow, dark voice he used. I thought that was kind of frustrating, and I started to really not like it as we went on.
I'm gonna make this right, Gracie. Every Meta will die.
I just didn't really find the story to be as interesting as they wanted it to be, because the interesting stuff came from the whole idea of Eobard Thawne in the future and Nora. I wasn't all that compelled by Dwyer, and nor was I by the future Grace and her coming back in time and just being just evil, almost to just be evil, it seemed like. And I didn't really like them. I wasn't all that interested. I want to see Grace grow up and live a normal life and maybe even be part of the show, and I'm happy that they saved her. I really am about that, but I didn't really like the Cicadas. Undoubtedly my least favorite villain, and that's a shame.
Let it go before it's too late, like it is for me.
You're right, Uncle Orlin. It is too late.
Now in these shows like The Flash, Arrow, Supergirl, and whatnot, there's a large cast. There's so many different characters coming and going, and while there are certainly some talents which I particularly do like in The Flash, I think that none of them stand out the most as Tom Cavanaugh, and that's why I really want to talk about him in this video, because I have this opinion that Tom Cavanaugh is one of the best things to happen to CW's The Flash. I feel like he's just an amazing character in every way that he portrays. What I mean is that Cavanaugh plays a different version of Wells each season. If you haven't noticed, I think he's been back every season just as a different kind of character. You get a very similar character because it's supposed to be in the multiverse.
Das Kinderfleisch, Child of the Flash. Obviously, you have your father's moral fiber, yeah, and your mother's smarts, classic beauty.
Oh my God! Stop.
You know what? No, don't thank him. Don't fall for this ruse. Clearly, this guy is putting on an act. He's a charlatan.
It's the really fun, different personalities that he does so well with. And I really loved Sherlock, whatever his name was. I absolutely loved him this season. I thought that he was a great addition to the team. He was charming and witty and funny, and he was extremely smart, and I loved the way he interacted with everybody around him. And I was extremely happy to see his satisfying ending where he got to pretty much solve the case of another cicada, and he got to go back to his Earth and join his love, who he saved. And he learned a lot about himself this season, even though he was supposed to just be this character who was new to the season. I thought that there was an interesting arc with him, kind of learning about, love.
Notice anything else about me?
Challenge accepted. Well, East Coast girl
Yes.
from a small village, maybe by a bay, work with books, a librarian at a university, live by a train station, small split-level pad. You have a dog, older dog, corgi. Anyway, about that stuff.
Okay, stay away from me.
What?
Basically what I'm trying to say is I thought that Cavanaugh's performance of him was great, as he always is, and seeing him back as Eobard Thawne was pleasantly surprising, because I loved his portrayal in the first season, and when he returned as the Reverse Flash, it was great. And honestly, the ending, last few episodes, I want to say, is where we started to see him the most, and we saw what the story of this Reverse Flash was. was, that's where I was just like, wow, this is like the best character on the show. And realistically, the more we get of the Reverse Flash, the better. Not only was he like an awesome, menacing, truly legitimately terrifying and well-written villain with motives and stuff like that, but he was also just like a really entertaining character on screen. Like I said, the performance was great, and like I also said, you had that balance of motives and also sometimes the lack of motives, but just being evil, but not just doing it in a cheesy way. But I feel like Thawne is just legitimately so smart and so evil, and he's such an awesome villain, and I was happy to see his presence this season. I like that he actually tricked Nora, sending her back in time, going through this whole elaborate scheme of things, honestly, where he had to like make sure she destroyed the dagger just to see him escape, because that was the only way he was going to make it out. His powers were no longer going to be dampened, and then he broke out, and that was a fun little scene there in the last episode. And now, not only did we get to see Flash interact with him again and see how powerful and menacing he is, and just what the impact he has on the team is, but also we get to see him escape, and that is just fun because guess what? There is a Reverse Flash out there no matter what. It seems like he's never gonna be going away, and more power to them if they keep bringing Thawne back, and honestly, bring back Tom Cavanaugh every time as him too, because I think he's fantastic as that character.
Just in. Well. It appears as if someone has figured out how to reverse time.
So in the end, I feel like I covered all of the main points of season 5 of The Flash that stuck with me. You know, I think I talked about Cicada, how much I didn't like him, didn't like Cicada 2. I was a little unsure about Nora's story, but in the end, the drama worked out for me quite well. I enjoyed that, and Reverse Flash and Eobard Thawne is just a great character, and we need more of him. And then everything else that happened this season, you know, kind of just didn't stick with me at all. So overall, I feel like the season actually wasn't that great because it just didn't really have enough momentum from start to finish to really stick around as a strong season like some of the other Arrowverse seasons right now or in the past, or like some of the earlier seasons of The Flash. I'm hoping that next season we'll get some strong stuff, particularly a good villain. I feel like they sometimes dig their own grave with so much elaboration and just trying to make these plots so crazy and long and drawn out and everything with time travel and whatnot. So we'll see what happens next. One thing I forgot to mention is, of course, at the ending, which was a really nice ending. I love the way the episode ended. Overall, I thought the season finale was fun. It was interesting. It solved the plot points. It ended things that needed to be ended, and had a sweet, real finale to it. Yeah, two things I just want to say real quick. One, Joe West is a great character. I think we need more of him doing great things as a leader. And also, we saw that the iconic newspaper thing where it says the Flash vanishes in crisis, and the year was 2020 something, or I don't remember exactly what the year was. I know that it changed to 2019, and that's really exciting because, you know, we have this infinite crisis going on in the next seasons of the Arrowverse, and this is potentially like going to be the biggest crossover yet. I think that Arrow really strongly alluded to what is coming, or made us want to know more about what is coming in their season finale. And the Flash did the same in a more subtle manner because it just happened at the very ending and almost like a post-credit scene type of event. And now that we know that the Flash is vanishing in 2019, I think it's going to be a really interesting and critical season for the whole universe, honestly. And I'm really stoked for that. I hope that Team Flash stays strong and doesn't add characters that don't need to be added. I hope that the next Tom Cavanaugh, Harrison Wells character added is as good as the last one. Hopefully we have a good villain who's not stupid, cliche, or evil just to be evil, or just hopefully we don't have another Cicada. Give us someone strong. Like, more of the Reverse Flash would be good. I didn't think this season was overall awful, but definitely lacked a lot of the quality that others had. But guys, those are just my opinions on The Flash Season 5. More than anything, I want to know your thoughts. So I hope that you guys will join me in the comments below. Leave me your thoughts on everything. Tell me how you felt about Iris and Barry's relationship with Nora. How'd you feel about that character as a whole? Did you like her storyline? Did you like that Thawne returned, and did you like his narrative of what he was planning in the future and whatnot? How'd you feel about the cicadas? How'd you feel about the dagger? And of course, if you are interested in more videos like this, I can guarantee you that there are more videos on the way. I will also have a video talking about Arrow Season 7, my thoughts on the finale and the season overall, and my hopes for the future and what came out of Season 7. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and maybe consider hitting that subscribe button. Ring the bell while you're there if you want to see more of these videos as frequently as you can. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed your time here, and I hopefully will be seeing you guys all in the next video.